Hi guys, how you all doing? Cat here from Back in the Saddle with the lovely Alfie. So here we are, typical BHS fashion, as it is. The cavesson there, I left it out in the rain, so it's gone a bit stiff actually, it needs some dubbing. So you really look at my cavesson and go, oh, that's a bit loose, but never mind. Here we are with the lovely Alfie. So Alfie's been off work for a couple of weeks. He kind of reverted backwards, and I had literally changed his feed, and then looking closer now at the ingredients, and speaking to Camilla from Premier Performance, it's quite understandable that we did go backwards. So since then as well, we've been to the Simon Kokoza clinic, and yeah, I just feel that everything that I had done previously, before I started riding, was done well, and he was ready to be up and riding. And we seem to just keep getting to a certain spot after a week or so of riding that he just reverts a bit backwards, starts coming back off the leg. And I didn't really know what was going on with him, so he had just a couple of weeks just thrown out in the field and kind of forgotten about, and then I've been inspired now to start again. So I'm sorry that the video is a little bit far away from us and you can't really see what's going on, but we just start off with a nice smaller circle just to see how much kind of lateral bend I have to start. The right rein, it's an odd one. I think that we start to have a little bit more bend through the neck, because he kind of relies on my contact a lot more on this rein. The other rein, he doesn't need as much contact, and I presume it's because he's more balanced on the other rein. So then actually we end up producing less kind of flexion in the neck. So anyway, I think that this is kind of day 4 or so of being back into work. So I'm really just testing the waters before I start to really push him on nicely and get his hindquarters out on the circle more, that I'm forever telling my clients that they need to do. But the main thing with Alfie is he's coming out and he's having a good time. So I'm happy with the way that he's working. I'm happy with his mindset, and I'm just happy with him all in all, really. The main thing that I'm trying to get him to do here, if you haven't seen any of my other videos, is first thing, relaxation. We all know that that's key. Second, I want him to enjoy the way that he's moving enough to think, oh, I want to do that more. So what I'm actually looking at more is what his hocks are doing. Trying to get his hocks to kind of step under as much, if not more, than out the back of him. So if we put some bright coloured dots on his hocks, hopefully we'll be able to see in his next trot that's just coming up that his hocks are underneath him, and that he's starting to push up through the back. He's getting enough strength now to be able to push and step under nicely, pushing up over his back, that is encouraging the head and neck to come down, and pushing enough that he will slowly start to come up and off the forehand. Now, even though he's been off work for a few weeks, he always seems to maintain his fitness, like his cardio fitness. He's always playing in the field with Buddy and Fuzzy. So none of this is particularly strenuous to his cardiovascular fitness. But as it goes, it is a little bit more of a strain on him mentally. So that's why I'm working just so relaxed here, and just making sure that he can find his own rhythm and his own pace. And actually he's chosen this slower pace today, where sometimes he might come out and he'll be a lot more forward. So I don't mind which way or how it is. So as long as he's having a good time, he's moving his body correctly, and he wants to do more of it, then I feel that we're hitting our goal. So yeah, he's very responsive now on the lunge. He's very relaxed. He's very quiet. He's in a rhythm. And on the whole, I'm standing still on a circle and letting him go round me. And then at other times I will walk towards him. And in this particular session, apart from the first couple of goes on each rein where he was on quite a tight circle in walk, just so I could see how he's bending and how he's feeling today, most of it he is right out on the lunge. And so I'm just getting him going forward and just getting him to enjoy his movement. So you'll see there I start to walk down the school with him. So rather than staying on the circle and getting him to kind of up the tempo and start stretching some more, what I actually do is get him to go in a straight line and I walk with him, and then that helps as well. And then bring him back onto the circle so he can keep that inside hind stepping under nicely to push the back up. And yeah, he kind of gets to the point a couple of times in this video where he actually wants to go straight and wants to propel himself forward that little bit more on the straight. So often it's quite nice with the horses when you just kind of wangle them around a little bit, do a nice little warm up, do a canter, and then often after the canter you'll notice that they come back and they look brighter and better in their movement, and they seem to want to be able to work a little bit better, like a little bit more freer and a little bit more forward, which is key really, having them forward. But with Alfie, because I'm trying to keep his mind calm, comfortable, happy, and being happy in the arena, we didn't bother to canter today, and it'll probably be a couple of days before we do set off into canter, before we do start doing some more serious type work. So here we've just stopped for a little while because I am testing how he's positioning his weight for a rein back. So his rein back used to be very awkward, used to almost hollow at the back to be able to do it, where now he's actually shifting his weight and stepping forward really nicely. And then I just send him straight up into trot. So say I do need to get a videographer that can zoom in so we can see more what's going on. But I do find that the rein back is so useful, as well as some of the other things that I do sometimes that isn't on this video today, is more like a turn on the forehand type thing. Again, just still on the lunge, just creating more of a square with the lunge and almost getting him to stand and then turning the quarters out and then walk the straight line, corner, turn on the forehand, straight line, and that really works well as well. But today I just concentrated on a little bit of rein back that you just find a little bit hard, and sometimes it's quite funny actually that the exercises that they don't want to do are often the exercises that they should be doing. So the main thing with the rein back is that you're not pulling with the head and neck. You want the head and neck still to be quite low or neutral. If you're pulling back with the head and neck, then it definitely makes a difference going forward as to how easily they rein back by distributing their weight and kind of gathering themselves a lot better, preparing themselves, and then going straight up into the trot. And if you could hear the sound now that I've actually blocked out so that I could do the voiceover, he's actually blowing and snorting rather nicely. So yeah, so that was his right rein that he doesn't like to do so much, so he just had a switch to the left, which is absolutely fine because he kind of asked nicely if that was possible. And I'm like, yeah, I think that you did really well there on the right-hand reins, so go for it. And you'll start to see now a little bit more of a gentle kind of sway through the tail, which is really lovely to see. And his balance is absolutely great. And if we could zoom in to any point there and kind of take a screenshot of how he's moving, I'm really quite happy with that. And we always have to think, are we better than the day before? And was that better than the day before that? And often we'll feel like, oh God, we've gone back a day or two. But just keep building on and moving forward. So if I remember when I first took on this boy, and it's a funny little parking stance there, but he's parked. Yeah, I'm very pleased with that. Yeah, when I first took him on, many a day I'd come out and have to spend 10-20 minutes just running the lunge whip over him to get him used to that, So I'm very pleased with how he's coming out. I'm really enjoying his work. No treats at all. The only treat that he gets is to be able to feel good in himself and in his movement. And then today, for the first time, we've been able to do this. I took off the cavesson, which I often do as a sign as you've done well and you're finished. But oddly, he'd usually stay with me when he knows that he's finished. But he walked back out as if he wanted to carry on working. So a little bit of magic here occurred for us as he stayed out as if he was on the lunge. Rather nicely. Doesn't have my contact, so the head was just coming up, and I think he was just kind of going, oh, I think I'm free to do what I want. And I think that is really quite a nice walking posture there. And so I asked him to come up into trot to see if he was really with me or if he did want to bobble off. And if he wanted to bobble off, that would have been fine by me as well. It was totally within his decision making as to what he wanted to do. And that's really lovely as well, that he can make his own decisions. Which is something that this horse definitely needs to be able to do, because he relies so much on the handler or the rider to make every single decision for him, that he does have to start making some decisions for himself soon. And that was really nice. I asked him to come back to walk, asked him to pop back into trot again, and there he is staying round me, and that's the working posture that we want. Not even a lunge line or a cavesson in sight. And there, I thought that was enough, because I didn't want to lose the momentum of it, because it was that good. And actually, again, even here, I think that he would have wanted more, which is blooming brilliant, isn't it, when you can leave on a session knowing that actually your horse would want more. So loads of praise. Rarely a pat. And there he is, little Alfie's session of today. And what I love about this horse is that when you first go out into the field, he'll come straight up to you and say, what are we doing today? And then often at the end of his sessions, he'll just stay with you as if to say, that was all right, wasn't it? Can you tell me that was good again? I think it was good, but I'd like confirmation from you. And so this is what I'm trying to do, is just break away from being his brain for him so much. He's got to start working out for himself what's good. So yeah, there he is, all done. And now what I usually do is I pop off the rail for the opposite end exit of the arena. The gate's down the other end and this is down here. And he'll usually go, all right then, cheers, yeah. I'll go now then. And we might stand in the field, the other side of the arena there. But this time, where I've thrown down his cavesson down there, is where he's interested to continue to have a sniff around. Playing with the lunging whip there, which is brilliant, because I say, Took me quite a while to get him used to that. And it's lovely. It's me just trying to encourage him to say, come on, you're finished. Go out. We're done. Trying to pull his nose round there, but he's like, oh, I'm not sure. I may as well just stay in here. I quite enjoyed it. But isn't that lovely? You know, rather than thinking, oh, bloody hell, I've got to go in the arena. He actually wants to come up to me. He wants to cavesson on. He wants to go out into the arena, which is, you know, such a breakthrough on any level for any horse, really. And then now he can leave the arena and he's wanting to just stay there. So I'm actually out in the field summoning him. And he's like, no, let's do some more, which we really could have done. But, you know, at the moment, I think kind of 15 minutes, if I can get to do it again later in the day, another 15, 20 minutes, then that's a good jobbed. And here he is, you'll be able to see him now, paw in the ground, actually wanting something extra. And it's certainly not treats, because he's way past that. And yeah, so thanks for watching, guys. Any questions or any thoughts or any feedback? More than welcome. Thanks for joining us again. And let me know how you're all getting on with your horses. I'd love to know.